how we incentivize what people hold, what they're using spaces for. Same with our grant programs. I think we talk we have the University of Idaho in my district, which is a phenomenal school, and they have this amazing grad program. And when I was talking to one of the students, they were looking into cancer research. I talked to another student who's kind of at the forefront of tech, and they were using the grants and the incentives that the government had to go into these really high priority industries, and those grants are gone. Not only that, but they canceled the visas for many of our foreign students who were in these grad programs. So when I look at America constantly trying to push and innovate and create a system, whether it's AI and how do we handle the transition of jobs from man-made labor to AI, but we need to actually be strategically thinking about how to incentivize people to go into the right industries, how to incentivize owners to use property in a way that is more lucrative for local and federal economies. And the tax code is the first way I can think of doing that.
Okay, so I want to focus back on healthcare for a minute. Because one thing I heard you all said, you want universal healthcare, and you want to be able to cut costs, and you want to take money from different part of government. Okay, but with my universal health care, it will cut costs, it will save you money, and it won't take any money away from any other department of the United States, because they won't have control of our health care. And the health care I talk about is the same health care I had when I worked for the state of Alaska and I was a state employee. It's exactly the same thing. Okay, so just imagine that you guys pay half of 1% of your income for your health care. You're not going to beat that. And it can get down to there. Because when you start taxing AI and robots, that's going to be a lot of money coming into our health care. And then when you invest which you don't use, earning 5 to 10%, that's even more. But just imagine, every time I go to the doctor, my doctor bills my insurance company $585 for that visit. Out of that $585, he said he'll get about $80. That means that insurance company somewhere is making $585 on my visit. And then I went to the dentist because I've been to the dentist for a while. I want to get my teeth cleaned. And so they x-rayed it. They said, okay, we need to do some really deep cleaning on the left hand and the right hand side. And so we have to get pre-approved by the insurance company. I said, okay, but how long will it take? They said, about an hour each side. I said, okay, we'll get it pre-approved and get it scheduled. They said, well, we have to do it for 2 different days because the insurance won't pay to do both sides on the same day. So I had to go in one day, get one side done, next day do the other side. 2 office visits. Okay, the insurance company is making dollars off of it. But just imagine if you guys had a healthcare system that you were in charge of that said, you know what, if you got 2 hours worth of dental work that needs to be done, get your teeth cleaned, get it cleaned all in one visit. Just think how much money that would save you guys, you all, on dollars. But yet, as long as we keep government involved, as long as we keep the insurance company involved, you will never have the best healthcare system in the world because they're all about the profit. And if you want good healthcare, you have to get those 2 people out of healthcare and get the American people in charge of your own healthcare.
Can I ask, if government isn't representing the people in the healthcare that you're offering, what does that representation look like? Because I know you talked about people owning that, but I just don't know what that looks like if it's not what the government is doing.
Okay, so the healthcare I had was with the Alaska State Employees Local 52. Okay, we had a health trust. We were the only state employees union that had this. 35 years ago, the government says, you know what, you guys, we don't want to be involved in healthcare. You do your own healthcare. So our healthcare, our union started their healthcare. They started Health Trust. And then they had trustees. The trustees, we had one representation from each class of our workers. We had like 9 different classes of workers that we represent. We had like that. We had, I think, 7,000 members. And then so we wrote our own healthcare policy. And then when the government comes to us, we got to cover this, then we will adjust it. But we determined how much we paid in income. We determined what our deductible was. We determined everything. Then the only thing we had to do was negotiate with the state of Alaska on their contribution. So, I mean, literally, that was the best healthcare. If I went to the doctor, if any of us went to the doctor, and the doctor said, and the insurance company said, this is not covered by our policy, then rather than deal with the insurance company, we went to the trustees and said, hey, the doctor said we need this, or they said this is not covered. Is it covered by our policy? If the trustees, when they looked at it, said yes, it's covered, then the trustees would deal with the insurance company to make sure it's covered. I mean, it's literally the best insurance I have ever had in my life.
May I make a statement? May I ask you? Okay, so I know you guys don't know me, but I'm a robotics engineer. I'm a robotics engineer, right? And William, I have a few questions and I have a few comments in regards to what you said about taxis and robots. Because essentially, a lot of these robots are import export, okay? They have people like you who are coming in on site and we are servicing robots. You know, usually a lot of these robots are being imported and exported in from other countries, other developments, and being parted together and sourced together to create one piece. Okay, so it's not like, oh, this robot's running on this code, and so we're going to charge this robot a fee. Because I don't know how you usually charge each robot a fee, but more so, and it goes to what Maria and Emily were saying, if you can pay me kindly. These corporations they have big ownership in land states, okay? And we essentially should be charging them per district land leases. If they're going to own all that land and they're going to make all this money utilizing the robots and they're not going to be servicing the community, then they need to be paying the land leases. And then every single maybe quarter or annually, there needs to be a district-wide review of that company. Are they bringing in community? Are they bringing in jobs? Is their position in this community having growth? Is it causing our community growth? Or are we losing money? Are we being harmed? Are they just wasting our space? Are they idle in this community? If we did that alone, okay, charging them land lease on these plots that they own, they're not going to just go and revocate the land from them because that'll be a fight in court to the end. But instead, we reposition it to land lease. Okay, you want to do business in our communities, then you need to be paid to keep this community afloat. Meaning universal health care is going to be placed there. Now universal housing is going to start being cleared up because if every single corporation that's going in and buying up all those houses and marking it up on real estate have to start paying higher taxes to it, they're going to want to fill it quickly or reevaluate what they're doing with it. So if we start charging them and hitting them in their pockets where it hurts, then they may reevaluate how they can help. Because coming from somebody who has lived in homelessness and lived in shelters, all the way to somebody who is now an engineer, it had to come from the bottom up. It starts from the bottom up. And if we don't start affecting them from the bottom up, then they'll continue to stay on the top. And that's our business.
So, let me explain to you about my taxation on robots. So, you know how we go into a store and you see these little robots going around cleaning the floors? Those are really a janitor, an employee. So, they should be paying a healthcare tax just like you and I would have to. When I talk about taxing robots, that's what I'm looking at. All the robots Amazon's using, and there's 1 million of them, those are all employees. And that should be paid just like an employee. Okay, that's my concept of taxing robots.
Understood.
Okay, so hold on, you guys. We got a new guest. He's running from New York, so let him introduce himself, and then Liberty Network can go next.
Hi. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. My name is Malin Haller. I'm running for District 21 against Lisa Stefanik, Anthony Constantino, and like 9 other different primary candidates. Community list. Sorry, I'm currently walking my dog. I just have been listening. I actually know Anthony very well. Been in a few of these. We've met before, William. I think I follow a few of you, especially Emily. I know that for a fact. Alright. So I just wanted to make a few statements on healthcare. That's okay.
Yep.
All right. So, as I do agree with universal healthcare, I think I am separate in the mind that there should be zero deductible and out of pocket costs for every citizen. And I know that doesn't seem feasible, but it is absolutely. It is, and there still can be privatization, but it's unnecessary, we all for that. But like, you get different kind of healthcare, and you still get the best healthcare no matter what. Sorry, rest.
Okay. So Liberty Network, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm actually driving, so I'm just listening, but I have like maybe 7 more minutes to drive, and then I'll be where I'm at. So I'm a really cool girl, so stay along, but I don't want to be a distraction on the live to get you taken. So I'll just mute myself for now.
All right, Dylan.
All right. Well, welcome.
The Liberty Network also is one of our partner organizations, as is the party, working with us. And they have a People's Plan for America that maybe Dylan will talk about a little bit when she is stationary. But yeah, they're amazing, both these parties and organizations. Mm-hmm.
And I will talk, Maria and the gentleman, I would try to pronounce your name. I'm afraid we'll chop it up. So what Anthony and I are trying to do is build a network of people running for Congress. And we don't care about your letter behind your name or in front of your name. What we care about is that you want to work for Americans and that you're willing to work across the aisles with everyone in Congress. Because that's what we need. We don't need what we have now because nothing's working. So if you're interested in joining us, People Party and Liberty Network are both part of the heart of our organization, because the heart is all these independent parties, and we're just all the veins that comes from the heart. So if you're interested in joining us, we have a Discord, and you can say, "Hey, send me the Discord." That's where we want to talk.
Hey, Glenn.
Privately,
just hopping on here.
Anything we need to talk about.
Every Sunday we do these
clearly
town halls virtually across America.
Americans running for Congress, and hopefully we get 100 Americans elected into Congress.
We have
That's
Dr.
really what
Lux
we need. 100
up here running
Americans.
for Congress. Maria Flores for Congress out in Arizona.
Care about these issues.
William, Congress of Alaska.
Anthony, you're muted again.
No, I was just talking on one of the other lives. We're streaming on. We're all being streamed across Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, as well as TikTok. I lost my train of thought now.
Right.
What you're talking about? What you're talking about? What we're trying to do here with the People's Party of America, Liberty Network, the Party, and the Grassroots for All, Justice for All Grassroots Party as well, is kind of create a unity Congress. Whether we win or not, change is going to happen. Speaking for all of us, if we are unsuccessful, we still have a representative from that area that is going to mirror and present legislation or policy that all of us, like I said, since we've been with this is our 25th town hall, all 200 plus of us agree on. healthcare, education, livable wages, and we are going to hound them throughout their term. And so we're looking for kind of something set up like Congress is, 535, at least one rep representing the Unity Congress from each state. And that's where we're at kind of right now. We have California, New York, Virginia, and Florida and Alaska represented right now.
So, I mean, I really hope you guys come and watch my live, because that's this or Anthony's live, or this is what we're all about, is trying to get people to unite for Congress, because we just cannot keep this division. If we keep this division, we are going to fall. And so we need to join together. It's so important.
I agree. I see that if we don't do something about this immediately in this current climate with this current administration, if we don't make our own contingency as a united front and as a united people, once this administration is over, there will be a vacuum effect. That will happen. And there are several different scenarios. We could start fresh with a modernized type of democracy. There could be a pseudo democracy, which on the surface looks great, but underlying and under that calm water, there are those torrents of white supremacy, of nationalist supremacy, that won't be able to be shaken. So I definitely think that we've got to present a united front. And quite honestly, as it says on my website, I don't care where you're from. I don't care if you like me, don't care if you love me. I will represent you. And if you need something, you call my office, you're going to get a call from me that week. That's all there is to it. We can't allow those who represent the people to hide behind their desks, hide behind their offices. If you're going to be elected to office, you are beholden to the people that elect you. You answer to them. You are their employee. And my theme of this entire campaign, for my campaign, is from the ranks the elected shall rise, but to the ranks the elected shall return.
But I will tell you that that's the nice thing about our Constitution. It gives us Americans the power and limits the power of Congress. But if we Americans don't step up and limits Congress's power, then we're at fault. And this is why, if we unite and we get our voice going, I mean, what I'm talking about, major voice, like No King rallies, that's a major voice as growing. But if we get them to join us and say, you know what, we want a united Congress. We're not voting for you red or blue people anymore, but we're voting for Americans. We can make a huge difference. And that's literally what we need to do in 2026. I would really love to find candidates in every district that would join us and join our network and say, you know what, you guys, I'm going to work for the American people, and I will work with every member of Congress, because that is literally what we need.
Essentially, we need, as I said in our last town hall, we need a very strategic SOP system. We need a standard order of procedure system that can be reflected in each county, each state, nationwide. Because once we establish the standard order of procedures, everything can be and have implementation that goes and runs smoothly. When people are all on the same page, even if their messages of policy is different, even if their messages of service to the community is different, as long as everybody is operating on the same page, then we're all grounded, okay? And that's what they're using. All of these big political organizations, they're using standard order procedures. All of these corporations, all of these companies, they're using these same implementations and systems, and this is how they're continually thriving. So it needs to be the same for the unity movement. The unity movement needs to have a collective purpose plan. It needs to be written out so that if anybody wants to come in, they understand and they know how to execute it and run with it fluently. That's what we think.
Right, and I will tell you, People's Party, is that when I started doing this, my vision was I was going to start my own party, but not because I wanted another party, but because we need a party to unite. And when Anthony got you guys on board, they said, hey, we got 3 or 4 parties that said they will join us. I'm so happy for that, because you guys, the parties, you guys are the future. I'm not the future. Anthony's not really the future. It's you young people are the future. And that you young people need to step up and say, you know what, we need to get this done. Not for us, but for our grandchildren. If we can focus on the grandchildren, your life will be better. And that's why I decided to run, because I'm focused on the great grandchildren of your all, because if we can make their lives better, your life will be better. But we do need every independent organization to join us. I'm going to actually talk to Indivisible. You know who they are?
Mm-hmm.
So I did a rally with them yesterday, and I'm going to talk to them about see if they would be willing to join us, because there's a nationwide organization. So if we get them to join us, then we're on a really major national organization, and that's what we need. And I would really love to see one of these national organizations get ballot access. So let's say Dr. Lux did not win the primary, but she can still be on the ballot through our organization. So our organization needs as many ballot access as possible in every state, because that's when we will make a difference. All right, Liberty, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Dylan, and I'm the founder and the creator of the Liberty Network. It is a network I started to unite, educate, and mobilize the people. We are working with candidates, organizations, movements, and creators to boost the message of unity, to boost the message of accurate history, educate the people, and then give them a place and an outlet for their audacity once they're awakened to the system, right? So, essentially what we're trying to do, and we're hoping to make our announcements this week as to who our official collaborations are, so it's really cool. Basically what I'm just trying to do is figure out different media ways to get people's names out there, whether that be helping candidates through a candidate cohort, with media training and script writing, and just getting together to talk about the needs of the American people. Organizations doing the same thing, but how are we getting activated in our areas, what help they need, because I have people, different organizations, different movements that are yeah, we can help you get people, or it's kind of people who just want to get activated somewhere. And then I have creators whose voices need to be heard as well, who want the opportunity to be able to, get everything out there. I wrote the People's Plan for America, which is a framework for how we're going to save America and how we can do it, right? I had somebody kind of push back on it and said, nothing in your plan mentions human rights. It's all about finances. And I'm just okay, but how do we have human rights like housing and education? And we need these things. We need to talk about how much they cost, because it's not going to say, I believe in human rights, and that's it, right? We have to talk about all the things that they say are too expensive to have that are human rights. No, this is the money. We can make it work. They just choose not to, and this is how you can see it. You know what I'm saying? So, just because it's not blatantly this, we're pro-human rights, doesn't mean that every single line in our legislation is not actively advocating for human rights on every level for every person. So with that, we are helping talk to people about how different policies work and how different things in the government work, so that we know how to kind of like dismantle them. So there's a lot of different moving parts, but we're hoping to use media to get through to people.
So I put on our Discord page a image that I want to post. But I'm a firm believer that if we're going to promote the unified Congress, that we need to make sure that we send a clear message. And I won't post anything unless I hear from you all that says, "Oh, that's great," or "We need to change this." Because it's literally about getting that message out that we're a unity for Congress people. And I looked for a website, but I could not find a website that says Unified Congress for America. The link that Anthony gave to me went to something that had no reference to.
I think D came up with a it's not live though. It's just a template with a site that's reserved, I guess. She was handling kind of that with Shaughnessy, where our last conversation was. So it is on the Discord page, but I don't believe it's active at the moment. We're waiting to hear. We're waiting for feedback from Ashley and Dylan, I guess.
Are we needing somebody to code a site? You guys know I can code a site fluently. I mean, I can code it by hand. I did People's Party of America.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fluent in all of code. So is that what is necessary? Is that what you're looking for? Because I can do that in 48 hours.
No, we're just looking. I think from what I understood, they were just looking for yes, this is good, go with it, or if we had any changes, is what D was looking for, and William.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, there's another, but thank you. No, yes.
So People Party, I'm looking for. We need a website that says Unified Congress for America, and I think if they're working on, I don't know what Anthony said to me is. I don't know, but what my vision is this, that we get a website going that talks about who we are. And we can list all the different parties that have joined us. We can list all the candidates that have joined us. So we can promote all of us as being unified for Congress. And so the picture I posted talked about Unified Congress, but I didn't have a website. And I want to post it without a website because nobody has no idea where to go. And that's part of the building process is making sure there's a website, making sure that when we post something, people can always have a link to go to.
Usually,
Squarespace is pretty easy. That's how I built mine.
Usually we have a group call on Mondays. I haven't received anything from Dee, but I'll reach out to her and see if are either one of you available tomorrow?
Just let me know. Just let me know what y'all need. You know, I can get it done, like I said, in 48 hours if y'all need me to build it. However, just let me know because, you know, my work schedule.
Yeah.
Let me know what you want me to run it. And if you just email me and, you know, I'll get it implemented as soon as I get out of work. You know how
I'll take I'll screenshot it, or I'll get an email out to you today, and let me know. Just let us know what you think.
See, and I think Anthony's going to probably make it for about 9 o'clock in the morning because he's punishing me. Because when it's 9 o'clock Eastern time, it's 6 a.m. here. I'm just kidding you, Anthony.
I know. It's hard to work with different time zones and work schedules as well because a lot of us work.
I tell everybody that they're punishing me because all those times I did my TikTok live at 10 p.m. Alaska time, 2 a.m. Eastern time. Now they're just reversing it, making me pay for it.
And then Discord, Ashley and Dylan, are you both on Discord or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You out. If I haven't already, I'll send you the invite to the channel where everything is.
Okay, you saw Dr. Lux wants to join us, right?
Okay. Yep. I remember you. Yep.
Well, make sure you send her one.
Okay. Very good.
So I will tell you, People Party and Liberty Party, I really, really, why this has been my whole vision since the day I announced my run for president 2 years ago, is that I'm a firm believer that it's not about me, it's about you young people, and that we need to build this for you all and for your future generations. And so that's why I try to push you guys to take charge. It's just like Larry with Santa's Helpers. When I took over Santa's Helpers, it was a 70-year operation that went all the way from 70 years back to ground zero. We had no donor base, we had no volunteer base, no toy donation base, no nonprofit status, no place to operate. And I took it over with the mission of making sure we build it for 70 years. And I said, I have 10 years. By the time I'm 70, if it's not built, it's not going to last. And so I started saying, okay, we need a volunteer base. So I worked on volunteers. I said, we need a donation base. So I wrote hundreds of letters and mailed out hundreds of letters asking for a donation. So we got a donation base built back down. When it came to the volunteer side, I did Santa jobs for the military in exchange that they would come and volunteer for Santa's Helpers. So I did what it takes to get that. When it comes to toys, the same way. Then we found a organization that helps people get nonprofit status under their umbrella. So we joined them. And then we had Fairbanks Nissan, who gave us $3,000. And then when I went and talked to them about finding a place to do Santa's Helpers, because we operate 1 month out of the year, he said, you know what, I like your operation, your mission matches my mission. I will empty the showroom for you if you want to do it here. So we have been doing Santa's Helpers out of that showroom since then. But then I had all that. The only missing link was a board or a corporation taking over. And then about 4 years ago, a group of ladies said, Bill, do you do this by yourself? And I said, yes. They said, would you like to create a board? So I created a board. And I gave the board 2 years of operation. They did a great job. I stepped away because it's not about me. It's about them because they're the future. And this is my concept right now, is that it's not about me. It's about you guys. And this is why it's so important that we get this built.
All right. Anything else anyone has? Maria, any thoughts, Maria? Yes, no, you want to look at it more?
Actually, I did just want to go over a few more points on my website. We've gone over taxes and healthcare and bailouts. But a couple of other topics that I'm really super passionate about is free school lunches, free universal school lunches for all school children.
Hey, can you hold on just a second? Stravinsky, I'm trying to send you a invite. She's from Arizona, and I think she's the one that I would really like for her to join us. Nope, not now. So I'm hoping she will join us. All right, go ahead.
So I personally would like to be able to see free school lunches, universal school lunches for all school age children. We have a severe problem with food poverty here in the United States, even though we could feed the entire world 5 times over with as much as we waste. I can't fathom seeing children go hungry. And I myself, when I was attending elementary school, middle school, found myself a lot of times, either given a peanut butter sandwich on a burger bun and maybe milk, maybe if they wanted to. And that was it, you know, for the entire day and evening. It just still makes my mind reel and makes me clench my fists to think that we have all of this money that we're sending to other countries to buy their loyalty, and we can't, or we won't even feed our own babies.
Mhm.
So it just tells me that, you know, people on either side who say they're pro-life, they're not really pro-life unless you're willing to advance a child's life and to help them thrive and become the best American that they can be. And that all starts with making sure that child has correct sustenance and is able to pay attention in school during the entire day without worrying where their next meal is going to come from. Another issue of mine is term limits. I am sick and friggin' tired of career politicians. You know, if you are serving in Congress and it's only a 2-year term, I get it. It's not really enough time to get progress done. So, say 3-4 terms at the max for Congress. Senate, you get 4 years. You get 2 terms. That's it. Like my motto says, from the ranks you have been elected into the ranks you will return. That is one of my major goals. If I get elected, I'm saying when I get elected, but you know, technically I have to say if. But when that time comes, I want to make sure that there is not only myself and the People's Party and all of us coming together as one, but I want to make sure that Americans understand that you're not supposed to make a lifetime career of this. And you're not supposed to be living off the people's money for the rest of your golden years. Okay, you get done with that and you go back to the career you had before, or, you know, take some of that money that you earned and put a little bit into your education. Go to college, get another trade. It's never too late. The only time it's too late for you to learn anything is after you've gone to the great beyond, wherever that may be. So take advantage of every portion of life you can right now. And, you know, I'm frustrated. I'm so overwhelmingly frustrated.
William and I last night we were discussing this very topic of term limits and looking at the various options of either the court or actually my personal opinion is that because the parties, both DNC and RNC, are private entities, if they wanted to right now, they could say, you know what, new internal bylaw, term limits for our candidates. Absolutely. And they haven't. And so that just tells me that both parties are not interested in doing this. The other option is a reversal of the 95 decision that struck it down. Thornton, the one who fought against it or opposed it, is no longer even alive. And if the DNC did that in Arizona, it would help them. There's 2 Republicans that would be ineligible, District CD9 and CD1, I believe. But it hasn't happened.
What do you guys think of term limits for the Supreme Court?
Yes.
That's a part of our plan, or trying to implement that in government accountability. So similar to your stance on term limits, we have the 6 terms in Congress, in the House, 2 terms in the Senate because it's 6 years, so 12. They both equal out to 12 years, and then it's 24 years for the Supreme Court to like double that essentially. So it's trying to like do it in groups of 6, but I mean that was our thing. But yeah, I don't think people, especially unelected officials, our government is run by unelected officials. When it comes to the Supreme Court, the 1%, the rich billionaires, and the Federal Reserve. So there's just, we don't have a lot of control over a lot of the money. So we need to start regulating everyone somehow.
So,
Exactly.
I will tell you, Anthony and I, we have 2 years now, we've been working on a constitutional amendment for term limits for Congress. Okay? And we have it rolled out. And it addressed a lot of things because you can't just put term limits. You have to literally make sure you address their retirement, their after retirement benefits. So we have worked it out. And like Anthony said, that we do have a huge roadblock. You're not going to get Congress to introduce it unless we get all of us into Congress. So what I want to see is that we start getting this constitutional amendment out to every state, and we get on the ballot for 2028 in all 50 states. And I would almost say all 50 states would pass a constitutional amendment for term limits.
I just disagree with that. I don't think that'll be successful, Will, because again, you're going to have Republican and Democratic parties at the state level, which we know that they're not interested at the federal level. I doubt they're interested at the state level in passing such things anyways, as well.
So
unless we all win, or unless we're all successful in our elections.
and I don't think you need Democrats or Republicans at state level. I think we need the American people to step up. We are the government, whether it's a state or federal. We, the people, are the government. So if we, the people, step up, we put forth a constitutional amendment for that state that says, you know what, we want term limits. We do have that one challenge of the court, but I'm going to tell you that I believe that we get that overturned in the Supreme Court. Because if we get 50 states to pass this constitutional amendment, or even if we get over 3/4 of states to pass it, that's what's it take for constitutional amendment. And so we just got to go backwards. We the people have to take the power back. If we keep telling we got to let the Democrats and the Republican Party do it, we're giving them the power. But we got to take the power back. The people needs that power back. Quit saying we need the two parties on board. We don't. We need the people on board. And I think we can pass it, you guys.
You just got to be careful because if you open up a constitutional convention of any kind, anybody can put forth anything. So you would have to do it specifically for, I'm just saying, like, as other options, because you would have to open it specifically for term limits and not leave it open.
No, I'm not talking about a constitutional movement. I mean, a constitutional convention.
Convention of states, yeah.
So in what year was that, Anthony? 1995?
Yeah.
So in 1995, an individual named Thornton,
Willie Thornton, Ray Thornton, yep.
wrote and got passed a constitutional amendment for his state for term limits for his Congress. Okay, it was passed by the state by that state. But when the state or whoever appealed took it to court, the Supreme Court says you can't impose term limits on your state, on your U.S. representatives. That's the power in the Constitution. So I think if we got all 50 states to put forth a constitutional amendment from the people, not from the state house, but from the people, then I think that we could actually get at least 3/4 of state, probably all 50 states will pass a constitutional amendment for term limits on Congress, especially right now when what they're seeing what's happening. And I think it will be challenged, and I think it's a challenge that we can overcome. Because I have really studied this and looked at this, and like Anthony said, here's the challenge. And I said, Anthony, here's the problem with that, with what the Supreme Court said. We can get it overturned, but it's we the people, not the parties.
Hey guys, so, I just came back real fast because I wanted to say something to you before my meeting. In regards to the taxation of robots, especially in policy, is let's be real specific on who you want to tax for. You have a manufacturer and then you have the consumer. I think that if you are specific with that, like, are you going to tax the person that's doing the robot? Are you going to tax the person that's doing the body? Are you taxing the person that's doing wiring? All of these, are you taxing all of these components? Or are you just taxing the manufacturer that's purchasing the robot to replace the employee? That would be a really, really big plus up thing for everybody to understand. Because as somebody who deals with these robots every single day in the automotive industry, I'm touching these robots every single day. I'm in meetings with executives on how they have to replace robots from Ford companies and big companies, okay? And you're going to have to determine which person, place, or thing you're going to be taxing, or are you going to be taxing essentially all of them? Because if you just say, we're going to tax the robots, that's so broad that it can be fought immediately, because they're going to say, well, what part of the robots are you taxing? Are you taxing the programming? Are you taxing the artificial intelligence? What component? And once that's established, then you can probably run with it in a great magnitude. That was all I wanted to say before my meeting.
Right. So, people party, here is my vision. Okay. If company A is building robots, okay, but they're using a robot to build that robot, that one robot is an employee. That robot gets charged. When that robot is built and it goes out to 7-Eleven to clean the floors, that is now another employee, and as a janitor. So whatever that position pays, 10% is taxed for healthcare. So it's not. So it doesn't matter if that robot is using AI. It's that machine is an employee. Now, when it comes to a company that's answering, you call a company and a AI voice comes on, and trust me, they do that. That person who's answering the phone is an employee. That employee gets charged just like an employee. So it's not charging components; it's charging the individual machine.
Right, but what I'm saying is that one machine doesn't just get built in one place. A lot of these machines get components here, okay? Then they get put on the back of a semi truck and shipped to another place in another business, which is subcontracting out, that does another part of that then does another part of that, and then a consumer buys it, and then that consumer operates it for his company. That's how it goes. These companies aren't just going there, and some companies may be, but none that I've ever worked in yet are just, like Harley or any of these companies. They're not just buying. That's not how it works. They're subcontracting out and bringing parts in, just like they do with cars, just like they do with a lot of places. These are a lot of different companies playing a small individual role in their industrial industry part. And then these companies are subcontracting out to make that one robot. So essentially, you need to decide, are you going to tax all of these subcontractors? Or are you just taxing the consumer that bought the robot after it went through all these contractors? That's all I'm saying.
So I want to talk about this so you understand. Okay. So at the end product, when you got that little machine going around cleaning the floor, that's an employee, right? So now we back it up to the assembly part of that. If you got a robot over here who is building that machine, that's an employee. I mean, it's literally like Ford. Ford used to have people who did nothing but paint the bodies of their vehicles. Now the machine paints it. That machine replaced that employee. That machine is an employee. It should be paying taxes just like an employee. Then with that machine, if you go back up, you got a machine that's bolting the doors onto the car body. That's an employee. It used to be done by human beings. So you look at each step. Oh, not the assembly of it, but what is that machine really an employee doing a job? That's the part you tax, not the building of that machine, but you tax the part that the employee that is, if company B is, so if company B, let's say company B installs holding the door on a car. Okay, that machine that's
I'm gonna have some
holding the doors
snacks. So I'm a bit hungry.
that machine gets taxed. Now with that part don't get taxed because let's say it's a self-driving car. But when the car moves to the next company B, maybe that company is installing the engine, so it's all done by machine. That is an employee. The car is not an employee yet.
I understand what you're saying with that because essentially, I mean, then you would be charging the person, the company that bought the machine because it's still operators, even the welding machines, even the robotic arm machines that assist in these things are being operated
Hey, baby girl.
by people. You know, people
Yeah,
or
and
even
that.
if they're just pushing two buttons and it goes around and it welds and everything. So essentially, you're saying you're going to be charging that corporation that purchased the robot to assist in production. That's
So
what I'm doing.
if there's a human being that's pushing the button to weld, then that welder is not the employee. Now, if they got someone programming and all those, you got 100 of these robots all welding, each one of them becomes an employee because each one of those will have to do. Used to do it by a human being.
Well, as somebody, like I work, like I said, in a tier 1 automotive industrial plant, okay? And we have robots, stamp machines, press, die stamps. We have lasers, okay? But every single thing, every robot, there is lots of robots, okay? But human beings operate all of them, meaning they have to either push a green button or they have to double touch a button. Some sort of human interaction has to be had with this robot. It just doesn't go all day and without humans saying go, without it jamming up and a human being having to come and fix it. This is why I go and fix the robots because human interaction is necessary. So you're saying basically you want to charge the companies, which is a good thing. I just wanted to have clarity on what you meant with that.
Right. And the nice thing about this is that this is an out-of-the-box concept because Congress doesn't talk about this as losing revenue. And as members of Congress, it would be their job to figure out exactly how to tax it. I put the concept there. They need to figure out how do you want to tax AI and robots. And then it's their job to come up with that plan. And then if I like the plan, if I was president, I could sign off on it. If I didn't like it, I could veto it. And then say, you know what, I don't really like this. Fix it, make it better. Or they could override my veto. That's how it should work.
Hey, perfect. I'm going now. Y'all have a good day.
All right.
See you later. Thanks.
Vance, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Vance Bostic, and I am running for Congress against Hakeem Jeffries here in New York 8 in Brooklyn.
Oh, good. So do you know what we're about?
A little bit, but not much.
Okay, so I will explain it to you. Anthony and I we're cohorts in this. So when I decided to run for president 2 years ago, and when I started running, I was running for president, and then I said, you know what, I need to find 100 members, 100 Americans to run for Congress. And I don't care if you're a D behind your name, an R behind your name, an I behind your name. It does not matter to me. What matters is that you're American and you say, you know what, I will work across party lines with all members of Congress. So Anthony came joined my life. He liked the idea. And so we started doing this, trying to build this network of 100 members running for Congress, all with one purpose, is that we will work together. And then, Anthony, maybe a month ago, we got 4 different independent groups to join us. So we're trying to build this network that
Yes.
is almost really like a third party, but not a third party as a traditional third party because it's made up from Americans, whether a D, a red, Republican, or independent, libertarian. It does not matter to us. The only thing that matters is that you're willing to work with every member in Congress.
Nice. That sounds interesting and good. I'm not against working with everyone at all, as long as our goals are aligned. Yeah, I think working together is priority.
That's where this concept was born out of. This is our 25th town hall. So we've talked to well over 200 plus candidates from back in February when we first started these, and across the country. I think we've only had maybe 2 or 3 Green Party and a couple of Republicans. Everybody else has been independent or Democrat. We all agree on 3 things: what needs to be done, how, and when. So we, instead of having 50-50, for example, 50-51 going to do rallies, or Indivisible going to do rallies, or different, all these different, we want to bring everyone underneath an umbrella of one to push out our message, yourself, myself, William, because we are all in alignment with everything, to push our messages out, especially with grassroots candidates, because we don't have the funds and some of us don't even have staff. But we need to win. We need more citizen legislatures, obviously, in government, because government is not doing anything, it seems, for us. None of these policies, universal health care, universal education, livable wages, none of that new. All of those are at least as old as William or myself, and we've had. There's only 2 parties to blame: DNC and RNC. They're the only ones in charge that have been all of our lifetimes. Yeah. So we need to either win and be successful. If we're not having a backup plan with this Unity Congress, where we'll have unelected representatives, if you will, from each state, kind of mirroring each representative, senator, and representative. So that's what we're kind of at right now. We have the name Unity Congress, and we have the representation from. We're starting off with 1 person from each state, obviously Florida, Alaska, and California, and Virginia, and North Carolina, and New York are represented right now.
Yeah. No, that sounds like a good idea for sure. I like it. I think it's progressive. I think it's the right decision. Yeah, for sure.
So, and I will tell you, Vance, that we're looking for 100 people, and we don't want one of us to think exactly alike. Because if we want us all to think exactly alike, we have that need right now. Well, and it's not working.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that DC thinks exactly alike. I think they are paid to think exactly alike. I think they are paid to behave exactly alike by the billionaires. That is, at the core, that is our real problem, is that they are all paid for. We need people who won't be beholden to the corporations and billionaires and foreign entities.
Well, I'll tell you, they all think exactly alike, because the Republicans submit the same bill, 9 or 10 times. The Democrats submit the same bill. They both get it rejected. So now we're in day 17 of a government shutdown. These 2 groups of people think exactly alike, and they're not willing to talk to each other to figure out a solution. And so that's what we need. We got Trump. Everybody has to think exactly like Trump. If you don't think like Trump, you're out. So that's why we want all of us to think different, but we're all willing to work together to figure out the best solution. And none of us has the perfect solution. But if we put our heads together, we can come up with really the best solution.
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely agree. As long as those different agreements and thoughts don't have anything to do with human rights and violating those, the dignity and equality, I'm all for it. Identity politics is something that I'm really not putting any attention towards, just because I think that it is irrelevant to our bigger issue.
Right. And I would tell you that, let's say you're pro AB and I'm pro-life. I would not want to have one disagreement saying you don't join us. Instead, that's where we should come together and figure out a solution that accommodates those things. And that's what we need a national discussion.